YouTube. We're going to fade to black. We are on the intro scene. Okay, I'm going to scroll up on this doc, go over to chat, and then we'll count us in. All right, we are going live in 5, 4, 3.
Yummy like a gummy bear.
It's the internet. You're busy. Let's do this for October 18th, 2024. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, the pirate Yakuza is going to Hawaii a week early, and Banjo is back on Switch. But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host, the Game Mess Mornings. It's Tamoor Hussain. Damn, how are you doing?
Truly the lamest of stories. The most boring stories. Because today is Greg's Day.
That's
what we
Day.
bring.
I really struggled to put this doc together. Wasn't a lot out there.
When Banjo-Kazooie is on your list of news stories,
Banjo-Tooie, please.
Okay, Banjo-Tooie, you know that shit is really, really scraping the bottom of the barrel. And listen, I like Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie,
Banjo-Kazooie's
Banjo Nuts and Bolts.
That's good.
Alana Pierce's dog Banjo, the instrument Banjo. I love all kinds of banjos.
Across the board. Run the gamut with banjos.
I don't give a shit about no banjo stories.
Yeah, I mean, it's like maybe notable because what's not coming to the N64 from Rare, like more Rare games on whatever. N64 Switch Online. Tam, I want to talk. I'm tired.
Tis the morning after Mario Party.
It's the morning after
Jeff
Mario
Grubb
Party.
is tired. I watched a little bit of it, and I was like, truly, this is the most annoying video game ever created.
It's rough, man. It's frustrating because we're talking about like, hey, is the game? Do you like this game? They asked me if I like the game, and I'm like, no. Like most of the time, I'm not doing anything, you guys are entertaining. That's fine, but and then when I am doing stuff, half the time these mini games suck. And they are
that's the
nonsense.
Thing about Mario Party. Like if you removed if it was the exact same game every time and you remove the Mario part of it, it is a straight up 2 out of 10 game.
Yeah, we did the anime party and we discovered that for ourselves. But but then like the defense that both Mike and Dan were we can entertain ourselves. So when we're not having fun with the game, we're just entertaining ourselves, and so the game is good.
Why even play the game? Just go stand in front of a mirror then.
Right. Fucking just go, yeah. What does that have to do with anything? What are you talking about?
Yeah. You could apply that to anything. Shit movie? Well, I can entertain myself.
Yeah.
You know?
Anything.
Bad meal? Well, I can entertain myself.
So I think that really just really explains what happened last night in terms of that game. Now I did almost win. That would have been fun. But
that would have been fun.
That would have been
Unfortunately, am I right in saying Dan won again?
You'll have to watch to find out, but I'm not happy with the results. Yeah.
I feel like if he was ass at the game and never won, it would be a whole different story.
Oh, for sure. Now, I mean, I think he does enjoy the process of making other people miserable, and all the bullshit that's happening, and him going like every 10 minutes because something happened that annoyed somebody. He enjoys all that. But if he never won for sure, although he hadn't won in a while.
I remember when we did the Bombathon and I played him at Soul Calibur.
And
I remember looking over at him and I had like my controls were absolutely buggered.
Oh, and
it was bad. I remember looking at him and just watching him as I thoroughly dismantled him at Soul Calibur.
Oh, really?
And it was like, so this is what it's like for you.
I must have been doing some of those because I don't remember watching. I feel like I would have made note of that.
It did not last long because it immediately gave the controller up. It was so fast. He was like, someone else who's next who wants to play.
I was probably outside in a gizmo suit getting run over by taxis. So
probably.
That's probably what was happening there for me. All right, let's explain what we do here. Most weekdays, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe even some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. All right, we have a lot to get into. So let's start the morning mess with everything announced at Microsoft's Xbox Partner Preview. This is from Nicole Carpenter at Polygon. They had one of them Nintendo Direct ripoffs, and I thought they did an all right job.
They had Temu Nintendo Direct.
Yes, right. We got it on the cheap, everybody. It was Woot. It was on sale, and we'll accept it. Whatever. I'm not gonna say no to a bargain. It was 25 minutes. They had a partner preview. So it's external games, not not first party games, third party games, stuff that they might have some relationship with, some games that might be on Game Pass. But there were some games that look really good, especially the upcoming Alan Wake 2 DLC, The Lake House, which kicked things off. That's coming out October 22nd. That's out next week. Like first thing next week, we're going to be playing this thing. And it looked pretty promising in terms of, they're bringing in the control stuff just the way people always want them to. Obviously, they've had a lot of that kind of crossover so far. But this looked like maybe the most of it so far. And I was impressed with what I saw. How about you?
I enjoyed it. There were a bunch of games in there that I was like, oh, this looks cool. Some of the known quantities were obviously exciting, like Alan Wake 2 and Like a Dragon. That was like cool, but there was also a couple of small surprises, like Subnautica 2. I didn't expect to see that here, and then obviously FBC Firebreak was the big one for me as a Remedy super fan and lover of Control. I was excited to see that. But yeah, it felt quite lean. It felt like no frills in the presentation. It didn't feel like they knew they didn't have a lot and were trying to stretch it out and present it as something bigger than it actually is.
Yeah, good point.
And I feel like that's a mistake Xbox has made multiple times in the past. And in the past, when that happens, it's led to a conversation about it, where people would then reflect on it for days and days at a time and be like, look, they had nothing and they stretched it out. What does this mean for Xbox? This time, they just stayed out of the way. A bunch of trailers, got the hell out of the way. People were like, okay. Or they were like, didn't enjoy that. And they moved on with their lives.
Exactly. It wasn't
I feel like that's
big to do, right? Yeah. So it's like they just like, hey, are you curious about some more games? If you are, show up for this, and then we're going to get in, get out real fast.
Yeah.
And then I thought the trailers themselves were pretty solid with that caveat, that sort of expectation level in mind.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like as an event and a stream, successful. Just enough there to get excited about, and a couple of like new things that were unexpected. Yeah, this is as good as you're going to get at this time of the year for a company that is in the situation or position that Xbox is in.
Right, they're not trying to do something that's going to be their massive E3 equivalent event. Honestly, Microsoft, if they and they're not going to do that with their own games either. If they have stuff like that, they'll take it to the Game Awards. They can get in there probably at if not for free, because Keighley wants the big games in there as well. Like, at a pretty steep discount. And that's where 90 million people are going to bring their eyeballs. And you could just do that there. And then, prepare for next year's kind of Summer Game Fest stuff and have something ready for then. And then at the same time, providing a little a silo for these partners to be in, marketing obligations, helping out third parties on your platform. This is a decent way of doing that. They had a fair number of people watching. Wasn't like huge. Like some of these things get, on their own, just 200,000 people watching. I don't think it was even that many, but they did all right. Chronos was one of those new games. This one's from Bloober Team, the team that just got done with Silent Hill 2. This is their next new horror game. It was hard to like understand exactly what was like the game, but there was an old lady and a big brother from BioShock playing chess against one another. And then as they were playing chess, it seemed like there was corresponding violence happening in another room. I don't know. It looks stimulating. It looks interesting. And I'm at a point now where I wonder, I show up for the horror games and I let that community sort of like guide me, Tam. Mm-hmm. Like, hey, just tell me what the good stuff is. I'll go play it. I'm kind of a coward, but I trust you. I feel like I'm interested to see how they suss out Bloober Team going forward from Silent Hill 2 remake, where it's like the assessment of them seems more positive than ever, and then maybe that carries over into this. I don't know. What do you think?
I think that's a dangerous game to play.
Sure.
Because obviously this is two different teams, right? Like, at the very least. And having the expectation that the quality of one team definitely translates over to the quality of another team is a tricky thing to balance when, Bloober hasn't been all bangers. You know what I mean? Like, if in a studio like, I don't know, Atlas or FromSoft or even Capcom these days, you see one Capcom game, and if your assumption is the next Capcom game is going to probably be good, generally you're probably right. Doing the same for a studio that has more ups and downs, and I think I've liked more Bloober games than I've not liked relative to other people in comparison to other people. That can be a tricky thing to do. However, they could very well pull it off. Like, they are a very, very talented team. Even when people don't like the stuff they're doing, it seems more divisive than bad, which is, I think a much better position to be in. And although we didn't see any gameplay, at the very least, Bloober takes big swings, which is something I'll always respect them for. They do some wacky shit all the time. If they were doing like boring stuff and biff in it, that would be one thing, but that's not really how they are. So I'm excited to see what this thing is, what is going to be the conceit of this, and what is going to be the unique angle on this. And I, as always, will give their game another game and their next game another shot, and even more so now that Silent Hill has proven itself to be so good. However, I'm not going in with the expectation that because Silent Hill was so good, the next game that they're going to make is definitely going to be amazing. I feel like that's dangerous territory.
Yep, I think you might be right. I think there's hope that they maybe they did show improvement in Silent Hill 2. Is that due to the fact that they were working within guardrails because they had something that they were remaking, or had they learned lessons from the criticism they've received in the past? I'm willing at this moment to be like, both could be true, and that's stuff that one team could share with another. It could be coming from the top down, and we're going to implement these improvements. But proof will be in the pudding. We'll see. At the very least, the trailer sets up an interesting, I don't know if that's the premise, but an interesting tone at the very least.
Violent chess.
Finally, we've been asking for it for a long time. They're delivering. Next one was Blind Fire. We're not going to go game by game for all of these, but there's a handful of these at the start I wanted to talk about. This one is like, okay, Blind Fire. It is just a kind of interesting looking shooter. We were trying to kind of place it ourselves when we first started watching it during the talkover. How are you feeling about just like when a new shooter like this gets announced these days? What do you think about its chances for finding an audience?
I honestly, like, these days, I feel like a shooter needs to be way more unique and distinguish themselves in a major way. And I feel like Blind Fire in a few years ago would have been potentially in that category where it's like, oh, this kind of a futuristic shooter that has a weird kind of Hunger Games. What's that movie where people are like competing for survival or whatever it may be? Not Blade Runner. It's the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Running Man.
Running Man. Yeah. It's got like the Running Man angle to it, and I guess in this one, everything is dark.
Yeah, so I guess so. The unique elements here seem to be Blind Fire is, from according to Cole Carpenter here, a shooter that removes light and is in early access right now. So I guess we can go play this for ourselves. The idea is it's going to be dark, and you're going to have different ways of seeing enemies. Occasionally, the level might have a bunch of like black lights and then black light paint on the wall to add some cool accents. And then you could see, like as we're watching this trailer, there is someone's flashlight, and then you see the shadow of someone running in front of that flashlight. So it's going to be like trying to spot people in all night maps. And then the other unique element is something that we were kind of confused by when we were watching this. Very, realistic movement where it's like there's a lot of heavy steps. So the camera bob is very exaggerated. And that was like, is this real? Now I've seen there's a lot of games on Steam that are like police cam footage shooter game, and they really have that same kind of like walking aspect to it of like the heavy camera bob, and this looks like it's doing that as well. So that feels like it would get pretty tiresome pretty quick. But
yep, and Pink, a lot of people feel really sick while they play, me being one of them. I I understand that it's an interesting idea. Like, everything's dark. You have to, someone fires their gun. You need to quickly look at where it came from to see that kind of thing. As someone who also plays a decent amount of competitive shooters, it sounds like it could get annoying as hell real fast. When there's a bunch of things that decide whether you're performing well or not that aren't purely skill based, that tends to piss off a lot of people who play these types of games, and it is like dangerous. It could find itself in a position where it feels more like a gimmick than they intended it to. And people kind of drop in, they're like, okay, I can't play this seriously. This is a fun, like, maybe now and then. It feels like it's made for a big streamer to play for one session, have some fun with it, and then never touch again.
Yep, seems possible. But in early access right now, we'll see if it finds an audience. I'm kind of curious just to see how they set things up. And is it just a free for all, everyone for themselves? Is there teams? Is there single player? I have no idea. Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii got its best trailer yet, I think. Boy, it looked like a lot of fun. How are you feeling about this? Because I'm just, man, I think they are killing it over there at RGG.
RGG is the other studio who, like, when they make one game and it's good, the next game you're like, hell yeah, it's probably going to be good.
Yeah,
and
let's go.
It usually is. Like, I'm a longtime fan of the Yakuza Like a Dragon series, and it feels like they've always been confident in what they're making. It feels like now they've reached the level of confidence where they're like, we can do anything. Anyone can come up with the dumbest idea and we can execute on it and it will be a banger.
Yep.
And that's where it feels like they're at right now. They are really leaning into that aspect of Yakuza that people love, which is how melodramatic and how seriously unserious it can be. And they've really figured out, like, they love to do the bait and switch, or they love to disarm you with how stupid some of the scenarios are. And then they'll hit you with some really, like, authentic and earnest and sincere emotional stuff. And they've been getting better and better and better at it. And now they're like, they've weaponized that kind of 1-2 punch feeling of feeling like, oh, this is dumb and goofy, and then walking away feeling like, I miss my friends. I should be nice to people. I want to help other people and get a decent job.
Right. So, I want to contribute to society and to my friends' happiness. Yes, absolutely. All right, Mouse PI for Hire. That's that Steamboat Willie looking shooter. That one continues to look promising. It's coming out 2025. Subnautica 2. The teaser trailer, I guess this is the announcement. I think the fans had a pretty good idea that this was coming, but this is the first time they're really seeing it. It's coming 2025. It will be on Game Pass. It will have co-op play, I believe it says. Yeah, four-player co-op. Yeah, that's going to be pretty cool. I've never played Subnautica, but I've always intended to. I bet I will really like it, and maybe I'll start with this one. We'll see.
Grubb
Nautica should happen on this website. Animal Wells coming to Xbox. Eden's Zero is anime, and it's coming in 2025. It's based off the manga of the same name. Is Eden's Zero something that was on your radar in terms of the manga?
I never heard of that.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering. Eternal Strands, burn, freeze, or throw everything in Eternal Strands. Yep. All right. And then I did kind of like lose the thread at a certain point here where it's like, okay,
you lost the strand. Thank you.
Lost the strand. Is this a strand game? Is what I think what we have to ask ourselves.
It's in the name. Like,
they wouldn't do it if it's not. Okay. I mean, a game that tells me burn everything is pretty fun.
Yeah.
Look, and then so, I mean, does it have a chemistry system like Breath of the Wild? Maybe. It kind of looks.
I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, Grubb. I am desperately trying to remember what this game looks like.
I actually like. Did
I
we
have
see this trailer?
No fucking clue what you're talking about.
Yes, I don't.
I ain't got a single idea. Eden's Strand.
Yes. Okay. I'll read it from Nicole Carpenter just for the audio listeners. Since you're lost, they must be lost too. Burn, freeze, or throw everything in Eternal Strands to be released in 2025. The game looks to give players a ton of freedom in how they take on the world's monsters. Microsoft also confirmed it'll be on Game Pass. It's like a magic casting game where it's elemental based.
Eternal Strands. Sorry.
Yes, Eternal Strands. Yes,
Eternal Strands.
Yep. All right. Mistfall Hunter. Now, do you remember that one?
Absolutely not. No.
A mix between extraction games and Souls-likes. Yes. Oh my God, what a
the extraction Souls-like.
Man, extraction Souls-like. I remember they said Souls-like. I must not have read the extraction part because I would have lost my mind. That is nuts. That's like let's start. Hey, like they put 5 buzzwords in a fishbowl and they picked out these 2, and I guess we got to make one of these now.
Yeah, it feels like the people are going to do the thing now where they just pick every genre and add Souls-like in the end. And let me tell you, I'm excited for music rhythm game Souls-like at some point.
Wheel World. This one was the cycling game from Annapurna. It was formerly known as Ghost Bike. The bike-based adventure game mixes the carefree nature of cycling with what seems to be a little mystery. Microsoft also confirmed it'll be on Game Pass. It's got a really stylized look, similar to Sable. A lot of people pointed out it doesn't have the on the twos animation sort of frame rate thing that Sable did, but it's got the similar sort of shading to it. Looks very cool. I think everyone was sort of impressed by this one when we were watching it live. Phasmophobia is coming to Xbox. Legend of Babu has a big dog game. Big dog game. That's man, we should that should be our clothing brand. Big Dog Games.
Big Dog Game.
Yeah, Big Dog Game. Yeah.
That is amazing.
Who doesn't love a game with a dog? The Legend of Babu is coming to. I don't like saying Babu. The Legend of Babu is coming to Windows, PC, and Xbox in 2025. Even better, you'll be able to play as the dog Babu and its human companion Sefer. It's looks like an action adventure game where you go through the world with this big
dog.
Yeah, big dog. I don't know the breed, but it's big. It's about as big as the boy. Big Babu, about as big as the boy. Dog game.
Say that 10 times fast.
I can't even say it once. Wu Chong, Fallen Feathers. Another.
I'm just gonna say it. There's too many Wu games.
Yeah,
too many Wu and Woe games.
Yeah, we gotta go low on the Wu. Everybody, rein it in. Yeah. Wu Chang, Fallen Feathers. It could be Wu Chong. I don't know. Trailer began with a person wading through a forest of dead, hanging bodies before showcasing the game's sword fighting gameplay. Oh, it's not a Jake Paul simulator. What's the he went to Japan and did the bad thing.
Oh, let's not talk about what he did in Japan.
Bad man. This is it looks like it's very much trying to pull from the soul or from. Like honestly, a lot of this art design is like, hey, how close can we get to From?
Yeah. I mean, it's on Game Pass. I'll give it a chance.
Right. Yeah, I'm willing to try all this, and I think a lot of this art design is about as From worthy as you can get. Like this is like it looks pretty good. Some of the things, not everything. The character that had all the stuff on him, he looked pretty cool.
I've got too much shit on me.
Yeah. And then FBC Firebreak, we talked about this a little bit. Set in the world of Control, FBC Firebreak is a multiplayer first-person shooter coming to Windows, PC, and Xbox Series X in 2025. The 3-player cooperative shooter is set in Control's Federal Bureau of Control as deadly otherworldly forces lay siege to the headquarters. Microsoft also confirmed it'll be on Game Pass. Okay, yeah.
Left 4 Dead. Like, listen, Left 4 Dead, everyone calls it what, L4D for short? Mm-hmm. L4D, FBC, they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing.
I think this is like, just seems like a smart project, right? You have you set in the building that the one video game already took place in. 2 big games, 2 of the best games from this whole showcase are that, right? Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Let's just take the Hawaii map, reuse it, just like we do with all our games over at RGG. And Remedy's like, hey, we're a studio maybe about the size of RGG. How can we be more efficient with the kinds of games we're making? Let's just start reusing some of these assets. And I am all for that. I think there was a time 10 years ago, Tam, where reusing assets was such a dirty concept and people would have freaked out. It's like, oh, these lazy game developers. And now it's like, look, you better let them reuse the stuff or we're just not going to get as many games as we want. And
it's a case of like giving people more of what they want. I think people are much more into that idea. I think back in the, many years back, people would be like, absolutely not. We need a brand new, fresh idea every single time. And I think these days people are more like, I will take a little bit more of this, please. Mm-hmm. And I think that helps a lot of people. And you have to do it in a smart way, obviously.
Feeding time?
My cats are both fighting over the same one. Let me get.
Yeah, go do your thing for sure. In fact,
big ass is over here.
Well, let them fight. Let them fight, Tam. Yeah, I think
she's got her own bowl, but she never goes to it. It's stupid.
Oh, kitty.
One brains.
Yeah.
So, but like, also, like, you have to trust the studio to do it right, and Remedy, and I trust Remedy to do as best a job as they can. And RGG are obviously they're basically the masters of reusing assets at this point. Yeah, and also, like, I feel like this is a smart project, especially considering it's, I believe, the first self-published title from Remedy. You want something that's as close to a surefire hit as you can get without being boring and, just a retread.
Right.
This is in the middle ground where Control is a smash hit for them. It's the thing that they're most well known for now, even above Alan Wake and to a degree Max Payne, I would say. And having a game set in that universe again, but with some coming from it from a new angle and perspective, is a good call, I think.
Yeah, it's also the kind of thing where it's like, okay, multiplayer, so a lot of people are going to be willing to just download it digitally. It doesn't necessarily have to be in physical retail stores. That's going to help them out with their being, like you said, their first game that they're publishing, and then working with Game Pass, working with Microsoft, getting that deal, so you will have a certain subset of players ready to go right away. If it's got crossplay, that'll help. It's going to be on Steam. I'm sure it'll be on PlayStation. I wonder if it'll be on the Epic Store. I wonder if they still are going to do stuff with Epic. It probably will be on the Epic Store. There's no reason not to put it there, but Epic is no longer publishing their games. All right. I think what we're going to do here, actually, let's mention this story. We've talked about Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. One thing we didn't mention that was confirmed in this rundown is the release date moved up a whole week. Yeah. Kind of Dregs Day. This is the kind of story that gets sent on Dregs Day. That's basically even barely worth mentioning because it's like so little time. But February is busy, Tam, and you kind of get the sense of why they're doing this, right? So this game is now coming February 21st. I think were trying to avoid a game called Monster Hunter Wilds, which was coming out February 28th, right?
Yeah, that's a little game that people like. Got little Pokemon in it. Don't tell Nintendo.
Yep. And honestly, February 21st was kind of a little bit of a hole in February because on the 11th, you have Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, as well as Civilization 7. Then the 13th is some game. I don't know what it is. I put all these games in here. But then Avowed is February 18th. So, later that week, you put Pirate Yakuza.
Assassin's Creed Shadow, February 14th.
Yes, Valentine's Day, right? That's how we're going to celebrate, of course. I'll need that for my spouse, of course.
Absolutely, yeah. I only profess my love to video games, so
yeah, exactly. And through video games.
Exactly.
I'll be playing Assassin's Creed. I'll perform it for her. Yeah. So hey, get in there, move it to a date that's not locked down yet. Stake out your ground. Do everything you can to maximize the sales of these games. This just feels smart. I hope it works out for them. I got a feeling that Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii feels like one of these spin-off Yakuza games, like a Dragon games, that could really take off.
I mean, yeah, I believe it's the first game in the series franchise that has Majima in a starring role. Yep. And that is everything that every Yakuza fan has wanted for the entire time this franchise existed. So we're finally getting it, and I'm ready to pop off with my top off.
Me too. All right, let's take a quick break. When we get back, more information about those Pokemon leaks. DMCA strikes are starting to hit them. And 2K has an extraction shooter of their own. Oh boy. We'll talk about that right after this. All right, let's get back into it. Some Pokemon leaks are getting taken down by DMCA requests. This is from Nicole Carpenter at Polygon. Shogakukan Shueisha Productions Company, better known as ShowPro, is reportedly filing the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, DMCA, notice to take down social media posts related to leaked Pokemon art and documents. Several posts on a leaker account, Control Leaks, on Twitter, have been replaced with a notice saying the image has been taken down due to a request from the copyright holder. According to Centro Leaks, Centro Leaks, the DMCA requests were filed by ShowPro, which is in charge of Nintendo's anime shows and movies in Japan's Pokemon merchandise, but not related to Nintendo or the Pokemon Company directly. Notably, not everything has been taken down, nor is it just posts related to the Pokemon anime. ShowPro specifically has an anti-piracy division within the company, and it's been known for its aggressive approach with its copyrights. So far, the takedown notices do not appear to be widespread. It's still hard to find Pokemon leaks on social media or elsewhere. It's still not hard, excuse me. A little bit of this is like, okay, I was waiting to see how Nintendo and the Pokemon Company would respond to this stuff. So far, they seem to be doing the thing of like, we're going to let this play out and sort of maybe not add fuel to the fire. Maybe they're also trying to do the work of finding how this stuff did leak. The word I've heard, which has not been confirmed, a lot of this stuff is not confirmed, is that it was a phishing scam for an employee. That's something that just happens all the time now. Now some DMCA leaks are popping up, and it feels like a little bit of an admission. Like, a lot of this stuff is real, although there continues to be question marks around a lot of these things because there are sometimes apparently trolls adding misinformation into the information. So it's a whole mess out there. Have you been keeping an eye on these leaks? It's been kind of hard to keep up with for me.
Do I look stupid, Jeff?
I'm going to say you do.
Do I look like... Listen, I know better than... I don't even look at Nintendo leaks. Because I know if I even look, there's a significant chance I could somehow go to jail.
Yes.
I am not looking at, I'm not thinking about it. I'm not even looking at the Run of Show sheet right now.
Oh, that's smart.
Okay? Because I just do not want a situation where Nintendo can somehow figure out, that they're like, they can present some sort of argument where I am involved in leaks. I have not looked at your leaks. I have not looked at any text about your leaks. I have never done a crime in my life. I certainly have not even once in 1998 been responsible for a leak of one of your video games. Ever. Ever. It's never happened. Okay? Don't come anywhere near me. I got nothing to do with you.
That's clever. It's smart.
Game freak, more like game leak.
There you go. Get their asses. So wait, you're not aware of what happened to Typhlosion?
The Pokemon? Is he dead?
No, the people want him to be dead now because what he did to that woman.
What'd he do?
He turned into a human and tricked a lady into having sex with him so that she would have a half human Pokemon. It's based on Japanese folklore, so I don't know if that
is real. I don't know what's going on anymore.
What? It's as real as we could tell from like. There was some bad translation as well in there, so it's like. Maybe he didn't trick her. Maybe he saved her life and took her back to a cabin and then had sex with her. Honestly, going to be real. Those details don't matter to me. Typhlosion out there getting it in, doing his thing. That's all I know.
You know what? Let my man Typhlosion get his willy wet. That's what I'm saying.
No one's stopping him so far. So yeah. And then there apparently something going on with slacking, but I've continued not to look into that myself for the reason.
Isn't Typhlosion like just basically a carpet with fire on it?
It's like, okay.
It looks like a
walking rug.
It looks like a rug with, and then if you look at it from front on, it looks straight up like a criminal.
Yeah, it looks like you put
look at this thing, man.
If you put a sneaky little face on the flying carpet from Aladdin, is what he looks like.
Yeah, this thing is ugly as hell.
All right, let's just keep going with this show. 2K reveals colorful hero extraction shooter that already feels dated. This is from Zach Swisen at Kotaku. Today, 2K Games and 31st Union finally revealed Project Ethos, the studio's first game since it was formed in 2019. And have you ever played Overwatch or Fortnite? Then it will look familiar to you. Formed in 2019, 31st Union is a studio led by former Dead Space director and Sledgehammer Games co-founder Michael Condrey. The 2K Games studio has been quietly working on something for a few years now, and also laying people off too. And on October 17th, the studio finally unveiled its first game, Project Ethos. It's a free-to-play third-person extraction hero shooter with roguelike elements. There's a trailer out there. Maybe I'll put it up on the screen here in a second. But Tam, boy, I do not envy anyone who started making a game in 2019 and is releasing it now.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, they started making this game in 2019, and it explains literally
And it
everything.
sounds so much like the game you started in 2019. Yeah.
Yo, man, how is it allowed to get this far? That's my question.
Right, but the alternative is the Hyenas, right? Remember over at Sega and Creative Assembly, they're doing their version of this, Hyenas, and they're like, well, we cancel that. Now everyone at Creative Assembly's like scrambling to do something else.
Yeah, to be clear, I would love for this to be awesome and for it to succeed. I'm just, the thing that we're pointing out is
we just don't, I don't
the odds are stacked heavily against you.
Yes.
Like, precedent is not on your side. There's been little to no successful cases of a new hero shooter, extraction shooter coming out from a major company like this and it being successful. I can't think of the last one. Even the sequel to one of the most popular hero shooters ever made isn't as beloved anymore. Like Overwatch 2, I was a diehard Overwatch fan. I can count the amount of Overwatch 2 I've played on one hand. And that is something that I feel sad about.
Right.
It is, that's a rough.
That's something you have an emotional attachment to, something that you spent a lot of time with friends playing. Like, and even that game can't get over the hump. Again, it goes back to your point.
It's rough.
That this is the odds are stacked against it.
I think people need to realize, or companies to realize, that this genre is a very much time and place moment. It's like, were you there when baseball started?
Yeah.
Or like, are you, not exactly the same, but like, if you're trying to make new baseball after baseball has existed for a really long time, you're probably not going to do very well, homeboy. Like, it is something that, like, there are games out there that now exist as these types of genre games that new players just are embedded into as they grow into that age.
Right.
Like, when someone inevitably reaches an age or a point where they're like, I want to play a hero shooter or an extraction shooter, they look at the ones that are most popular right now, Fortnite, or like these games as a service games. Yeah, games as a service games, Fortnite, Apex, Overwatch, Rainbow Six Siege, and they pick one. It's like choosing, are you going to play football, baseball, soccer, basketball? What are you going to play? Don't try and invent a new one of these. You can try, but unless you've got something so cool that it is going to distinguish yourself and it's got a high chance of popping off, that's when you do it. This just, I've not seen anything in this that feels like, oh yeah, they've got something. They're cooking here.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, it feels like when I look at there was just this scene in this trailer where they show they do the thing of the sizzle reel of the characters, right? Here's one character you could be. Here's another character you could be. And it feels so much like you take the head of, the big burly Viking guy from one game and you put him on the science body from another game, and it all looks like Fortnite. And it looks kind of like bad Fortnite, honestly. I don't know. This doesn't. Whatever. I'll play the game. I'll give it a shot. I'll give anything a shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the IGN preview, apparently, according to this Zach Sweisingen story on Kotaku, was not encouraging. He's like, he read the preview. I've not read that myself yet. But he's like, they said it's it's fine, but it feels dated, and it looks
fine.
Dated.
Does not get you, like, fine isn't enough for the investment that a game like this requires.
Yeah.
Like, I look at Concord. Come on, man. Concord has the biggest company behind it. It got folded into some kind of crazy, Amazon TV series shit. It had, it wasn't marketed great, but like they put a lot into it, and now they're eating that investment pretty hard. Like I looked at the video of this, and it's like, oh yeah, you look like Fortnite. You've got the Valorant like character select screen.
Yeah.
I can't see a single unique idea in this. It feels like it was created because someone on a shareholder meeting was like, we need one of these games.
Yep. And it's like, and if you're making one of these games and you are a new studio at 2K and you sort of have to make the thing that the people who are giving you money feel good about, like, you're going to end up doing everything that everyone else is already doing because they know that works, but it works for that other game for other reasons. And now you coming in a little bit late and just copying all that stuff. Not that I'm against, whatever. Do your thing, get your game across the finish line, steal the best stuff from other games. I am completely in favor of that, but I don't think that is necessarily going to make a successful game. Yeah, but Project Ethos, we'll see. Hey, Tam, I would love in 2 years us do this show and we're like, man, remember we had that conversation about Project Ethos and now it's the biggest game in the world?
Yeah, I would absolutely love to be proven wrong. Yeah, I would love to be proven wrong. Again, I never want a game to fail. Like, I always want games to succeed. I want people to succeed when they're making these games. And if it turns out this game is very, very popular, I will, eat crow. I will hold my hat in my hand and be like, I was wrong. I don't think so, though.
Yeah, I agree. Amazon's God of War TV show is starting over from scratch. This is from Ethan Gotch at Kotaku. Sony's God of War TV show, currently in development at Amazon, is reportedly getting a reboot 2 years after it was first announced. The adaptation has lost its showrunner and head producer as the companies reportedly look to take the existing scripts in a different creative direction. That means they don't like them and are starting over.
There was a typo in the original pitch, and they spent months making a show about a warmongering dog. And they were like, someone came in from Sony and was like, no, God, not dog. What the fuck?
Well, listen, Amazon would just be like, no, this is fine. Just put that up. That's a good show. Dog of War, hell yeah. Showrunner Rafe Jukins, Wheel of Time, and executive producers Hawk Ostby, The Expanse, and Mark Fergus, Children of Men, hey, cool, have departed the project, of Variety reports.
All the people that those cool things that they worked on, they're not here anymore.
Yeah, exactly. That's like, oh, okay, well, shucks. Tam, I'm on record on this show saying I'm not someone who is going to watch any of these shows, let alone needs these shows. So in my opinion, I'm like, okay, yeah, all right, good luck with that. If it comes out and it's the best thing ever, like people are saying like about the Penguin right now, and I'm like kind of struggling even to start that. My personal opinion is, hey, if you make this, you don't make it, it's no skin off my ass. But I know a lot of people want cool stuff from God of War. Although, I mean, I bet if we took the average video gamer off the street and asked them, like, do you want a God of War TV show? They're like, no, what if I just got a new game, actually?
1,000,000%.
Yeah, but I don't know. How are you feeling about this?
As a gamer, here's what I say. Are the people who made the video game involved in it? Are they making this? No? I don't care.
Yeah.
That's as far as I'm concerned. I'm just like, I trust Sony Santa Monica. I trust, the team behind Ragnarok and the original God of War reboot and, all the crew behind that. I do not give a single shit about anyone else outside. You could tell me Steven Spielberg was making the next God of War.
Was he involved in the Halo TV show? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I'd be like, still don't give a shit. I don't trust it. Like, what the fuck does Steven Spielberg know about God of War? Like, and what is the, I can't think of a single, maybe like the Riot thing on Netflix. I forgot what it's called now.
Arcane.
Like that's the closest you really. I think like that and Castlevania are the ones that I'm like,
people like Cyberpunk, Edge Runners.
Edge Runners too as well. Yeah,
I guess that's I think like based on the board game as well.
Also, I feel like CDPR had a pretty close involvement with that.
Right,
but like in this, like I've not seen anything from these Amazon things that I'm like, oh sweet, this looks great. Like same goes for like, wasn't there a Ghost of Tsushima movie there's a
Ghost of Tsushima movie in the works. There is a obviously Last of Us happened, but I think Amazon
Last of Us.
Netflix was also working on a Horizon TV show, and again, I always add the caveat that I am not someone who reports on Hollywood or the television production companies and things like that, so I don't fully understand it, but I kept hearing that.
I am.
Well, Tam,
your writer's better.
Yeah, I heard that Horizon was having some issues with its writing, and so they were like maybe like resetting the show over there as well. Now, does it give you some confidence that they are not just pushing through crappy scripts and they are like?
I guess so.
Yeah,
it's a glass half full way of looking at it, to be fair. So that's a fair point. Yeah. Or like the previous one was so bad they were like, we can't do this.
Right. Everyone was like, we just absolutely can't do this. Or
again,
go ahead.
I would love for it to be great. I would love. Yes. I think like seeing God of War on a TV or a big screen is sounds really cool. Like Kratos has that gravitas as a character that I feel like a lot of people could really get behind. You know what I mean? But I'm not holding out hope for a good God of War TV show.
Right, exactly. My happiness does not hinge on these things coming out and being good. Whatever, if they are bad, I will do what I do with all of these TV shows and just not even think about them.
I tell you what, though. What's Cory Barlog up to?
That's
what I'm excited about.
I think we get to next year and we find out. I think we will find out by the middle of next year.
I'm excited about finding out what Cory and Sony Santa Monica have been making. Yep. I want to see what Eric Williams and the other crew that made Ragnarok have been making are up to now. Like, that is what I'm excited about.
We're overdue for a lot of these big creative leads and their teams that have been working on stuff for a long time at Sony and a bunch of places. I think about the director of Titanfall over at Respawn, the original Titanfall 1. He's been working on a project for forever. And I'm like, man, what if we see that thing eventually? That'd be awesome.
You know what? It's a good time to be in video games. It is a good time to be in video games and not care about what video games are being turned into.
Yep.
We've got so many video games.
100%. To clarify, the Horizon thing, I'm trying to remember. Maybe they were bad. Maybe they were the scripts were too ambitious and they would cost too much. There's a possibility of that as well. Again, maybe don't go write stories based on that. I don't remember.
Do you think at some point someone in a meeting looked at the script and went, "Is it just me or does Aloy talk too much?"
Why is she describing what she's doing every time she walks into a room? This is weird.
What's going on?
Like, that's just true to the game. And we want to be honest to the game.
Yeah, we're going to be honest.
All right, brace yourselves, Tam. Nintendo 64, Nintendo Switch Online adds Banjo-Tooie on October 25th. This is from Sal Romano Gamatsu. They're adding Banjo-Tooie on October 25th. That's the story.
Great, moving on.
I do want to bring it up just to say, hey, rare games coming to Nintendo 64, Nintendo Switch Online is always interesting to see, but it's like, oh, okay, Banjo-Tooie before Donkey Kong 64. That's interesting. We have gotten like GoldenEye and Perfect Dark, right? I'm trying to remember all.
Was Donkey Kong 64 good?
No.
I remember playing it, and I now think back of it and just remember myself being thoroughly pissed off the entire time.
Hey, boys, okay, Barrett, Blessing, look over here. Donkey Kong 64 is not good. It's not good, guys. You need to let it go. I know you were children, but you're men now. You're adults. It's time to look at that game and admit what it is.
I played it to completion, and I remember just the entire time going, "This is ass. Why am I playing this? This is ass." And I think I pushed through because it was like, I love Nintendo, I love Donkey Kong. I have to, as a card-carrying fan of both of those, I need to finish this. I remember finishing it, and I remember being, I think that might have been the game that killed my love of like collectathon games for a really long time.
Tam, I think like you just unlocked something, and I think this game might explain a lot about how I play games now. Where I remember one summer like 100%ing Banjo-Kazooie and loving that, and then getting super excited for Donkey Kong 64. I love Donkey Kong Country, and then playing Donkey Kong Country or Donkey Kong 64, and then they're like, you're gonna have to replay these levels as these different characters to do these different things over and over and over again. I'm like, no. I'm just not gonna. I'm gonna stop playing this game because I'm not having fun anymore. And I had a little bit of fun doing this one time, and now I'm just gonna stop. And you know what? I'm not even gonna feel bad about it. This game might be the reason I play games the way I do.
Unless I've tried to like memory wipe myself, but did this have like a character switching system where it was like, oh, you've got to this part now, you need to go fucking all the way back and switch to Dixie Kong or some shit like that?
Yes, you would have to like start the level again as a different character, and as Marino in chat points out, hundreds of different colored bananas for every character.
This game is ass, like top to bottom. This game is ass. I remember it now vividly. It's coming back, and I think this is one of those games where I felt like might have been the first time that I became like a toxic internet troll, where I was like, "This is a badly designed game." Yes. It was the first time my brain went, the design of this thing is
designed
bad.
in a hostile way to me and the way I enjoy things. Why did they do it this way? And it's like they struck such a good balance with Banjo-Kazooie, and then Rare just like more things to collect and make it weirder and bad. It's I don't know if it's bad enough for Blight Club, Nikki. Because it's like,
no, it's not that bad. I mean, like, it is bad, but like it's still technically it's relative to the time, it's well made.
Yes.
I think Blight Club needs to have an element of did they code this blindfolded?
Right. There's a thing about like a Blight Club. I think we do, like, we talk about all our charter and the rules, but like there's an actual rule where it's like the game needs to be actually bad and not just something that would hurt the person playing. Like Dan doesn't like Myst, and it would hurt him, but Myst is not a bad game, generally speaking, for what it's trying to be. So that can't be a Blight Club game. Maybe that could be something else. Maybe we can find ways to hurt each other.
It was Lucy's playing that monkey game, isn't she? I saw a little bit.
She's playing Monkey.exe.
I played a bunch of that game, and that game gets, I think it's a really unique game because it gets progressively worse, like by the minute.
Oh, that rules, actually. That's great to hear.
It's really, really funny. Like by the time, I don't think you're going to get to the end of that game because I think like halfway through it just like utterly shits the bed and starts like crashing and shit like that. That's how I remember it.
We've been playing it, and I didn't remember, but I think a lot of people in chat, to clarify, it's Skull Island Rise of Kong is what Lucy's playing. And when it first came out, it was rough. Apparently they patched it because it's running a little bit better so far. I mean, maybe we'll still encounter some bad stuff, but listen, is it Game Mill? I can't remember who made this. Whoever did it, they really take pride in their work, Tam. So they improved it.
What is my Blight Club game going to be next? Because I am ready now to be punished.
Okay, well, I'll try to. We'll think of something. We can't tell you. It's got to be a surprise.
No, Donkey Kong 64, dude. If you tell me it's Donkey Kong 64, I'm throwing myself out of the window.
We could just have Lucy send you the Donkey Kong costume, and there you go. All good. A Gex. Is there a really bad Steam ripoff of Bloodborne? That'll be it. There you go.
Oh God.
Just really hurt you specifically. All right, last story here. Dave the Diver's creator wants to create a Dave cinematic universe of games.
No.
Yeah, I was wondering if, because this is I think that's how I feel. I'm like, I don't know if I'm as strong as, but it's like, I don't know if that's a good idea. I don't know if, I mean, okay, did it work for Shovel Knight?
Oh my God.
I think it kind of worked for Shovel Knight to a certain extent, but they treated it like expansions. Each new night was an expansion. I don't know.
Why are they doing this, man?
I don't know.
Yeah, you had a good thing here. Dave the Diver was cool. You know, it was a little indie game that everyone loved, and now it's, oh God, I just don't know, man. You know what? Creator of Dave the Diver, do it. Go for it.
J-Ho Wang says, and he's the creator of Dave the Diver, he wants to expand yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, my new strategy is to encourage this so we can all just watch people like drive their ideas into the ground and like just hemorrhage money and free fall. And then, you know what? I'm in my told you so era.
Okay.
That's where I'm at now.
I love that.
I'm in my I told you so era.
Yeah.
I want to look at people who are making mistakes and just look them in the eyes and be like, I told you so.
Yeah.
Fucking idiot.
Oh man, I'm really dreading the day that
I'm gonna become the #1 hater in the video game industry. That is what my aspiration. I want to be the top hater in the video game industry. The video game industry needs a new hater. It's me.
All right. Well, you heard it here first, everybody.
I'm gonna crack open my bottle of Haterade, and I'm coming for you all.
I'm just going to read this first paragraph so we can just get the flavor of what's happening here. Dave the Diver creator J-Ho Huang says he wants to expand the Dave the Diver IP with new games focusing on different characters and spanning multiple genres following the success of the first game. I get this tendency. I do. But there's no way... there's not no way. But it's unlikely the next game that has a different genre, focuses on one of these secondary characters, does anywhere near as well as Dave the Diver, right?
No.
Yeah, it's.
I feel like Dave the Diver was like a time and place kind of game.
Yeah, it's like Cooking Mama, right? There was a bunch of different Mama games, right? Like Mama did all kinds of stuff, but all I remember now is Cooking Mama, and I bet like the 3rd, 4th, 5th of those games had a huge diminishing returns.
The only way I see this working is if they take the Steam mode approach.
Oh yeah, Paul W. Graham in chat just said that, and that's what made me go, ooh, you're right. Maybe that could work.
I mean, it could work, but like the Steam World games don't have the traditional connected cinematic universe, if you know what I mean.
It is. There's a background hum.
There's an aesthetic and a couple of like fundamental ideas. For,
I'm sure there's lore there for people looking. I think it's like, okay, in this one game I'm going to outer space, and then one of the games takes place in outer space. It's like I think it's that deep, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is basically, they seem like they're saying we want to put Dave in a bunch of different professions and make him mechanics, make the mechanics different. Which is like, I don't know, man. Like, I wouldn't bet so hard on the Dave the Diver intellectual property. I feel like you're better off trying to make something fresh each time, because Dave the Diver is weird. It's funny and weird. Like, this big lad is doing diving. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that it's the joke that you tell once and you don't tell again, because everyone heard it, and it's not gonna hit the same way again. You know what I mean? Like, you move on to a new you got to move on to like a new setup, new punchline, and it doesn't seem like they want to do that. It seems like they want to go like, what if we told this joke again, but in a different room?
Yeah, right. And again, I get that tendency. I do. I hope it works out for them. If it's very much like SteamWorld, I'm a fan of the SteamWorld approach. Not every SteamWorld game works for me. I thought Build was okay. I don't regret playing Build, but I thought it was only okay.
Dude, Heist 2, the new one?
Heist 2, yeah.
Oh, God, it's so good.
Yeah, bangs.
If you haven't played SteamWorld Heist 2, play that game. It's so good, dude.
And Dig 2 is still one of my favorite games of all time. Yep. And I thought Hand of Gilgamesh, what was that? SteamWorld, Cards. I can't remember what they called it. But that was pretty good too. All right, let's get to the poll question. We're done with the news. All right. Yesterday I asked, are you getting the $250 4K N64 recreation? Somehow a zero got put in there. A recreation from Analog. 87% said no, but 13% said yes. 13% of the 1.7 thousand respondents are like, yes, I'm going to get this N64 that can work on my 4K TV. I'm
Grubb, are you in the 13%?
I'm one of the 13%. I am.
Where do you store all this shit? That's what I want to know. Where's this
I got a closet over there that's overflowing, Tam. you know.
There is.
I've come to realize, especially like very recently, I've always been like, I like the N64 a lot, but very recently, I'm like, man, I think maybe I do like the N64 more than the GameCube. I
was gonna buy this until I remembered Donkey Kong 64 today, and now I will no longer be buying this.
Yeah, listen, Donkey Kong 64 is that bad. I think that's a fair reaction to remembering that game exists. Different colored bananas that you could only collect with certain characters. So get out of here.
I feel like they should use that game in modern like game design courses to show you how bad it can get if you don't pay like close attention to respecting time of other people. Don't make the mistakes that Donkey Kong 64 made.
Now, Tam, I'm going to read this tweet, and I think you're going to change your mind about whether or not you want to buy this thing. Thank you, Yuzi, in chat for giving this to me. In a world obsessed with progress, yet haunted by impermanence, Analog 3D feels like an anomaly. In the relentless march of progress, something essential is often lost. Now you want to buy it, right?
Oh, the fuck does that mean?
That's the whole tweet, Tam. I don't know.
Wait, where's that tweet?
I don't. Usually copied and pasted the text of the tweet here.
Can you post a tweet?
Yeah, post the tweet. We'll show. Yeah, it's Turbo Sean in chat eloquently puts it. Analog marketing sucks.
I'm gonna reply to this tweet.
Couldn't fit the whole tweet. Okay, I see. All right, there's more to it. With the Analog 3D, we've sought to reclaim the soul of the N64. It is more than technological. The creation of Analog 3D is an act of defiance against the ephemeral nature of technology. It's a philosophical tribute to the art of an entire medium preserved with solemn dignity. Pre-order October 21st, 8 a.m. Pacific Daylight Savings Time, analog.co. Sorry, I got to go cancel my pre-order.
I cannot even find this tweet.
They just put it in chat. If you go to analog or at analog with the British spelling UE at the end.
Okay.
So I'm gonna.
Oh, I see it now.
I'm gonna unsend my email requesting one of these. I'm sorry. What are you talking about? It's a box that conquers bad fur day. It plays Excite Bike 64. It is not a stand against the ephemeral nature of technology. What are you talking about?
I'm just gonna quote you with, just put the fries in the bag, bro.
Tim, you're very good at tweeting. You ever told you that? You're just very good at it. I appreciate you.
Put the fries in the bag, bro. Is a recent common thing.
Holy schmoly. Okay. New poll question here in a second. While we're getting that set up, Tam, do you have anything on the internet you want to tell people about, where they could find you on the internet, all that good stuff?
You can find me at Tamoor H everywhere. I'm doing stuff, here and there, keeping it moving. But yeah, I mean, like, that's pretty much it. Watch the Mario Party thing from yesterday, because I watched a decent chunk of that, and let me tell you, I'm not getting that time back, and I don't want to be the only person.
That's fair. Absolutely.
Everyone else should do the same.
Oh boy. Okay. New poll question: do you want a God of War TV show? Yes or no? Just kind of curious to see what the temperature is for all you folks. It doesn't mean you don't get the next game if you say yes. If you say yes, the game still comes when it comes. Do you care that the show exists? So it's that little of stakes, low stakes here. You could say yes, and you still get all the other stuff. All right, we'll get the response to that. We'll talk about it on Game Mess Mornings here on Giant Bomb on Monday. Speaking of Giant Bomb, Astrobot Open starts at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern. That will take the place of UPF. There's no BCR. And yes, as Tam mentioned, you should go watch Mario Party from last night. It wasn't just Mario Party. It was also the 999 challenge. Tam, did you see the culmination of that?
I was out by then.
So, Jan, we challenged. I think we just challenged the universe, and Jan took it as a challenge to himself. That hey, can you eat 9 hot dogs, drink 9 beers in 9 innings of a baseball game? And that became in 30 turns Mario Party Jamboree. So you should go watch that, everybody.
You're right. What the hell?
He did this to himself. Now, does he get across the finish line? Can he do it? Go watch. You need to see these things for yourself. You need to be able to tell your children about this. And then Mario Party was also it was a fun time to watch, I bet. More fun than I was having. It was rough, Tam. Yesterday, I got up at first thing, did a 2-hour appointment for my kid where I had to talk the entire time because it was more about interviewing me about her. Then I did Game Mess Mornings. Then I streamed Astrobot. Then we did Voicemail Dump Truck. Then I did my Game Mess Decides podcast. And then we did 4.5 hours of Mario Party.
That's brutal.
It was brutal. And then Dan and Mike were like, "Oh, he's just pretending to be upset. He's just pretending to be tired." And I'm literally dying here. Then I felt bad because Jan was actually dying.
That's the kind of point where like Dan is like 1 second away from going, "Do you want to watch MacGruber now?" or something crazy like that, and you're like,
I do.
I killed this man.
I do have messages from the 3 of them last night where right after we got done, Mike said, "Hey, we should play Mario Party," and Dan was like, "Yeah, the 30 turns sounds good." And I wasn't in the mood for their jokes. I wasn't in the mood. And I just went to sleep. All right, boy, I think we've covered everything. Tam, thank you so much for hanging out with me today and talking about video games, man. I really appreciate it.
It's good to be here once again.
Absolutely. Thank you all for listening and watching. Any final thoughts, Tam?
No. Be cool.
Yeah, be cool, everybody. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye. You're the best audience in gaming. All right, we